Hello everybody and welcome to Wales. You join me as I'm trying to take photos of the Isle of Man, which you may be able to see in the distance. I say that, you definitely won't be able to see it because the GoPro is super wide angle. You can also see the Lake District over there. You can see Liverpool, which I've seen before. I've seen the Lake District in Liverpool before from here. I've never seen the Isle of Man from here, so that's quite exciting. I thought you might be able to see Ireland as well, but yeah, I can't. Anyway, I'm 8 miles from home. I live down on the coast. I walked here this morning and now I'm going to walk back, hopefully, before it goes dark. And on my way down, I'm going to do some photography and specifically an exercise, which I think has improved my photography. And I shall use this snow in this wall to explain what that exercise is. I've put the gloves on because it's silly cold. Might not look it, even though all the snow is gone. It's colder than it was a couple of weeks ago when I was up here with Emily. But yeah. That's why the gloves have gone on. Right, I was going to explain about this wall, wasn't I? So often, I don't know about you, but when I'm taking photos, I'll see something that I think looks quite nice, worthy of a snapshot, and I'll take the photo, I'll move on. However, this exercise entails that you try to shoot the same thing in multiple different ways. So that might be 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 different ways. So this wall, for example, I might decide to shoot low and a bit further back. Something like that. That's a pretty bang average shot, to be honest, but there we go. And then the aim of the game is to look for other ways to shoot it. So I might come over the top of this wall like this. Then I might decide to go down here and get a shot of the sunshine. Oh, I'm used to shooting really wide. I can only go as wide as 24mm equivalent with this lens. So I might, say for example, go to f16, get some nice sunbursts, nice silhouette. Well, that's not really worked. There's a bit too much haze around in the sky to get a nice sunburst. Never mind, we shall move on. Yes, but the premise, hopefully I've explained well enough. To tell you the truth, I really actually don't like filming on days like this because more often than not I end up taking truly terrible photos. The thing is, that's not particularly a bad thing because today, or days like this, when you're doing this exercise, are in no way about the outcome. They're all about the process of you ending up thinking more about composition and forcing your brain to not be happy with the first thing that it sees. Just looking at this style, working out how to best take a photo of it. If I go over the top and shoot it from the other way, it'll be backlit and therefore potentially a bit more interesting. Try not to fall over. No, that actually doesn't look interesting at all. What about from over here? Wouldn't be great if I can't find one photo of it. That's not particularly interesting either. Well, as I said, process, not outcome. What about if I get a load of snow in the foreground? If I walk around so I don't ruin the snow. Ooh. The snow is quite a nice contrast with the green and the brown of the wall. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves, I'm talking absolute nonsense. What else? Maybe if I go back over the other side and aim for a silhouette. Right, silhouette. Unfortunately, I can't line up the style with the sun behind it. That's a shame, that would look good. That's all just a bit messy. Because it's a silhouette, it needs to be kept simple, and I think just having the top in the sky, if I'm not making sense, hopefully I will do when you see the photo, something like that, and just making sure it's a real simple silhouette. I mean, yeah, it's not going to win any awards, it's not a photo that's going to end up in my portfolio, but the premise is about trying to force myself to think a bit more about the different kinds of shots available in each place. There's quite a cool shelter here, as you can see, and I think probably the most obvious way to get a half decent, compelling shot of this would be to add the human element. Now, since I haven't got a model with me, I suppose I'll have to set up the tripod and be the human element myself. So, try and work out what kind of shot I want to get. Take a look in there. You probably can't see anything. I think this is probably the shot from here, on the basis that you can see some snow, and therefore the fact that there's a shelter here will kind of breed, what's the word I'm looking for? A feeling of warmth maybe, or security from the shelter. And I'll get in there and I'll pretend that I'm blowing on my hands and that I'm cold. Something like that. I say pretend that I'm cold. I am actually cold, I'm freezing. Right, I'm going to go for an aperture of 5.6 just because that means I'll be in focus and the lens will be sharp. I'm going to focus on the shelter door and I'm going to use time-lapse mode to make sure I get a few different options of, well, me pulling slightly different poses. Taking the gloves off for dramatic effect, and here we go. Ooh. Right, I'm going to pretend to blow my hands warm. There we go. How's that? Believable in any way? Okay, an alternative shot has to involve this little hole here, doesn't it? Clearly. So I'll go and position myself in there and hope that in the meantime the rest of my gear doesn't get stolen. I mean, I don't think that's particularly likely given what's around me, but fingers crossed. Right. Same process, focus on the rocks, and I suppose I'll try and peek my head out. Go and have a look. Oh my word. Oh, I'm a little bit too claustrophobic for this, I think. Oh, it's amazing how warm it is though. Right, where's this hole? Here. Right, you probably can't see anything with the GoPro, but there's my camera out there. And again, I'm just going to blow into my hands. But no idea if the camera can really see me or not. Right, that'll do it. Ow. I do question what I do for a living sometimes. That doesn't look quite as dramatic as I was hoping for. Thankfully, as I'll say for the 50th time, process, not outcome. I think I can see ponies over there, which might be a good bit of fun. You might have noticed, particularly if you followed my photography or my videos for a while, that I'm taking slightly different kinds of photos so far, photos of huts and things of that nature that I don't usually take photos of. Usually I take photos of, well, mountains and stuff. But the thing is, for this exercise, it makes most sense to take photos of smaller stuff, signposts, stiles, huts, things of that nature, because for very obvious reasons, it's much easier to get different versions of photos of those things as opposed to mountains where you'd have to maybe trek a mile to get a different perspective. Yeah, so that's why I'm taking photos of slightly strange things. Maybe I didn't see ponies. This, as you might be able to see in front of me, is an incredibly uninteresting puddle. But what I'm thinking is that if I stick the camera really low and then walk the other side of it, you might get quite an interesting reflection. I use the word interesting quite loosely. Again, those of you who watch my videos a lot will know how much getting my tripod out twice in 10 minutes is killing me. Yeah, that's all right. Although, by the definition of this exercise, I do need to find another perspective of the puddle. I know what I'll do. Right, we're going to keep to 12mm, 24mm full frame equivalent. I'm going to switch to manual focus. I'm going to focus on my feet. Perfect. f2.8 and maybe ISO 400 should do it. That gives me a shutter speed of 3,200 or, well, 500 if I point the camera down. So I'll adjust the exposure down just to make sure my shutter speed stays high. And I'm going to find a part of the puddle that's not too deep, stick the camera on a high frame rate, and hopefully I only have to do this once. Right. What do we get? Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take that. And here are the ponies. I've changed to the telephoto for the ponies because I don't know how friendly these ones are and whether or not they want to come and say hello. If you want to cheat with this exercise, by the way, then shooting things like ponies or other animals is the perfect way to go, because they, for obvious reasons, change your composition for you by way of the fact that they move. Literally no skill involved in this shot. I'm quite literally pointing and shooting. Oh, that is just lovely. Maybe get a bit low to include some foreground, and I want to maintain separation between the two of them because they're stood a bit apart, so it keeps the simplicity. Something like right, well, as you might be able to see on the GoPro, it's starting to get dark, so this might be one of my last examples. I mean, I might be able to find something to take a photo of when it does get properly dark, but who knows. Anyway, this fence I think could act as a pretty good subject. I think I want to get low for the very first shot of this, and the reason for that is that I don't want too much distraction between the fence and the sea, because the sea at the moment with the cloud cover kind of blends with the cloud, and there's a non-existent horizon, or there certainly can be with some contrast tweaking in Lightroom. So the first image is just going to be 35mm or 70mm full frame equivalent, and it's basically as straightforward a shot as you can get. To be honest, I think I might change that by sticking my bag down just off centre, just to add a human element again. Obviously, placing a bag down gives you a sense that, as I say, there's a human around, which I think adds a lot to photos. So let's try that. That'll do. What else? Has it got a particularly rusty lock or something on it? No, not really. That looks fairly new. There is a ship really far out to sea, which I think could work quite nicely, but to frame that, I'll need to put the telephoto back on. Not a problem. Right, let's see if this works as well in reality as it does in my head. I don't know if you can see the ship on the GoPro. There's a few of them, to be honest, and the Isle of Man is still visible, so visibility is still very good. Ideally, I'd like to get the ship framed in this top triangle here. Might take some trial and error. Right, this hill goes up, so I'm going to have to be super low in order to get the right composition. Let's see through the eyes of the camera. Where is that ship? There it is. So if I go further back still, go for 2.8 to maximise the separation.
Well, I reckon that just about does it for mediocre photos of gates. I don't know why I kept calling it a fence. I've done that before in videos. It's a bit weird. I must have missed that day at school. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that video, or at the very least the exercise, and hopefully you give it a go yourself, because I reckon it's definitely improved my photos over the years, even if it doesn't particularly look like it through the course of this video. Anyway, speaking of exercises and self-improvement, a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Skillshare. So Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of classes in all kinds of different pursuits, from filmmaking to photography, animation, illustration, business, design, creative writing, loads of different stuff that can be learned over the course of easy to follow video classes. And you can even watch Neil Patrick Harris attempt animation, or you can watch the rapper Ludacris try food photography. Seriously. Anyway, huge thank you to Skillshare. Do check it out, I'd highly recommend it. And the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a free trial to Skillshare Premium. And after that, if you like it, if you carry on with Skillshare, you'll pay less than $10 a month for access to all the thousands of classes. So I'd really recommend checking it out. Skillshare are awesome. And I'll tell you what else is awesome, look at this. Came in the post today. So as you can see, it's an old camera that's been converted into a light. Look at that. It's going to end up living behind me there on a little chest of drawers. So that looked pretty cool. As you can see, there's no new frames yet. They are in the post, I've been told, but no other updates on the office. Actually, that's a lie. I've got these lights now that you can see behind me. They're in the ceiling, whereas last week they were on the floor. And I've put them in the ceiling so that that how it was before? That'll do. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you give that exercise a go. I do think it'll help improve your photography, particularly at the moment when lots of us are having to take photos of more mediocre things than usual. I think it's a good little exercise to do. By the way, I don't include the ponies in the mediocre sentiment. The ponies are awesome. Anyway, I'll see you next time when hopefully I will have a full row of frames. So tune in for that. And please subscribe if you don't mind as well. That'd be great. See you then.